Why? What's happening, everybody? Yes, sir. We back. We are back. Listen, I want to thank everybody for shouting me out, calling me, texting me, emailing me, smoke signals and everything, wondering what's going on. We miss Let's Talk. Hey, listen, I want to talk about that today. There's something that happened and I want to discuss it today. But before we get into all of that, man, how y'all darn? How your mom and them darn? How your cousin and them darn? How's everybody darn? I miss y'all. Listen, there's some things that happen. We'll discuss it in a second, but shout out to everybody that's logging back in. Shout out to everybody that's listening right here on One Voice Radio. I miss y'all. I love y'all. I'm just happy to be back. I'm just happy to be back. So as we get into it, we'll discuss some things, but today I really just want to talk about men's health. As we're starting to roll into Father's Day, I just want to talk about men's health. You know, a lot of things that, we discuss and we talk about, but for whatever reason, some men, not all men, have some hard heads. We just knuckleheads. Sometimes we just decide we gonna do what we gonna do. But today I want to discuss a couple things about men's health that I think will be able to go a long way. So for those men that are logging in, yep, I'm talking to you. For those ladies and wives or significant others and mothers and sisters and aunts that's logging in, yep, I'm talking to you guys as well because you guys will be able to help the loved ones in your life, the men that you love so dearly, to make sure that they're taking care of their business from a health perspective. So we want to just definitely go into that, dive further into it, and make sure everybody is where they need to be and doing the things that we need to talk about. So, Father, I miss y'all, man. I miss y'all. I know y'all miss my wine. So listen, as we're getting started, we have other guests that's scheduled and all those things. I had to push those things back. So let me get into the reason of why. Oh, by the way, my name's Stanley Doucette, and I'm fortunate enough to be the host of Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. That is me, that is he. So let's just get into it. I don't know, a few weeks ago, I went through a stressful period and Bell palsy flared up. Bell palsy flared up. If you're not there, just Google it, look it up, see what it is. It's basically from what my doctor shared with me and made sure I understood. It was under stress. So for whatever reason, first of all, everybody that's going under stress, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. I am an actual witness. I am an actual recipient of God's grace because it's my everything is starting to come back. But basically, the nerves on one side of my face stopped working. So my face, if you're looking at me on YouTube, I'm a lot better. Not 100% as of yet, but I'm a lot better. But my face was kind of twisted and slanted one way. For those that have never had it, it may look like and appear that you're having a stroke. So when I went to the doctor, as a matter of fact, I even took vacation. I just like stopped everything and said, I got to get out. I got to get away for a little bit. And for those that checked on me, thank you so much. But I just literally got away, shut everything down and got away for a little bit to relax and just bring it down. And when I went to the doctor said, basically I actually went through stroke protocol. I mean, I got DR doctors coming running to the front and everything, right? But it was just basically Bell's palsy, which we're grateful for, and everything is well in terms of that. Yes, for those that are about to ask, well, did you bring your stress level down? Yes, I did. So we brought the stress level down and did all those things with the Bell palsy. What it does is creates a pull on one side or the other. When those nerves in your face stop working, it began to bring a pull to your face. So when you smile, right? When you smile, it'll pull just to one side. So the side that's working, you have the normal smile. Wrong side. You have the normal smile. But if it's not working, you got to kind of do this, and your eyes start looking not crazy, but it's like your eyes don't function well. It looks like you had a broken nose, you're twisted, and all those things. So It is what it is. But as I talk to doctors and neurologists and all of those individuals, it's like it's just a matter of time before it comes back. It could be anywhere from a month to 6 months, but it just takes time to come back. And I'm grateful that it was just Bell palsy, but it's also a big warning, not just to me, but to every man, every woman that's out there. We don't want us to have that level of stress to where it begins to create things physically about yourself. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about just three simple things that regarding men's health. As we're coming up on Father's Day, oh, by the way, ladies, keep that same energy. Mom's Day, it's a holiday. It's a national holiday. Dads, fathers, yeah, we get the sock and a tie. And happy Father's Day. And they might bring us out to eat. And then that's it. We might get a text, we may not. And that's it. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. For mom, y'all gonna do it big. Keep that same energy for Father's Day. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. So, but anywho, let's get into why I want to talk today a little bit about the men's health. So, number one, a concern on the men's side. Now, ladies, I know y'all have some things y'all deal with as well, but today I just want to talk specifically about the men. So, on men's health, one of the number one causes of death and all kind of challenges is cardiovascular issues, right? And that can go through a lot of different things. But why am I bringing that up? Is because I want to look at the part of what that can cause. That can cause a stroke. If you having heart issues or some type of valve blockage or those things, that can create a stroke. Now, you can have strokes a different kind of ways, but this is one of the leading ways for men. And when I talked to more doctors, as I was doing or getting ready for this podcast, they were like, "Yeah, that also creates stress." Um, I forgot what it's called, where you can check in your blood, and I forgot what it's called, but if that's high, your cholesterol, thank you, your cholesterol. If your cholesterol goes up to a certain point, that can create some real challenges and problems. So we have to make sure, number one, we're going to get our physicals and going to the actual doctors and checking up about ourselves, making sure that we can do preventive medicines or preventive work so we don't have to do post challenge or post issues, that we can actually sit there and get everything checked and taken care of prior to, before anything actually happens. So that's really one of the biggest things I want to talk about. But the cardiovascular, if you don't have all your cholesterol in level, if you're eating bad, if you're eating a whole bunch of grease and so many other things, and your diet is not right, that, not saying it will, that could create some kind of cholesterol issues, which then can in turn having some other issues and some other issues and some other issues. So today I want to make sure that we're not having those issues. If you haven't been to the doctor in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, it is time to schedule that appointment. I know a lot of men are like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't feel nothing. I don't have no aches. No, I'm good." Or I may have just my arm hurt a little bit, but I'm good. I could shake it off. No, go to the doctor. Go get checked out, especially if you have not been in years. Please go get checked out, right? Please go get checked out. One of the things that I personally pride myself on is having the opportunity, if something is off, and if something's off, to actually go and get it checked out. Now, it may turn out to be nothing, but at least go and get it checked out, right? At least go and do what you have to do to go get it checked out, and then we'll finish up from there. But if not, it can create long-term issues, and those are the things we want to prevent, because collectively right now, a lot of people are under a lot of stress. This podcast is not to focus on stress, but it's to focus on men, our health, and preventive measures, right? Now, these are some of the things that could happen. You get a stroke, and obviously you get a stroke, you get have some type of paralysis. You can fall out. If you do it long term, it can have some long term damages to a whole bunch of things. Or unfortunately, it could even cause our demise. And that's not something we want to do. So we want to make sure as we're doing and taking care of our business as men, that's another thing. We have to take care of ourselves too. I know we carry a lot of weight. We carry a lot of people with us. We making sure we taking care of the house. We're making sure we taking care of the wife or significant other, the children, the parents, especially if you get to a certain age where now you got the children you're taking care of and you're also taking care of the parents. So you have all of those things going on. But I've always shared this with people that I've had the blessed fortune opportunity to mentor, as I always use the flight analysis, right? When you get on and you listen to the flight attendants, the first thing they say when you put on your oxygen mask, put yours on first, then we can help others. Well, take care of your health first, and then we can take care of others. If you need a day, well, you just need to unplug, get away from everybody, and just take a moment to just breathe. Do that. If you just need to take a couple hours in a day to sit in your backyard or the front yard or your porch, depending on where you are, in the basement or whatever, and just breathe, do that. Take that nap or whatever it is to make sure you're healthy. All right. We want to make sure we do that. The other, number two, I want to talk about is cancer. Now, for whatever reason, it just seems like everybody, I know it feels like everybody in America, if not everybody in the world, have been, or most of the people have been touched with cancer, right? They've been touched with cancer, and it's coming all kind of ways. I mean, it's almost sickening. But I want to talk specifically from a cancer standpoint. This is a touchy subject, right? But the prostate cancer, because there's different variations and all those things. We get all of that stuff. I'm not going deep into it, but I want to talk about that prostate cancer. Me surviving prostate cancer and going through all of the different protocols that I had to go through. I have a different and unique perspective about it, not just from the physical standpoint, but also from the mental standpoint that can also create stress and so on and so on. So that's first, so on and so forth. So let's first talk about the physical side. I remember um, when I first I had prostatectomy, and I remember coming from the surgery, right? And as I was recovering, I remember my daughter Gabrielle. I was walking very slowly, and she mocked me, right? It was so funny. I mean, it was hilarious. And she just said, "Daddy, Daddy, why are you walking like this?" And she started doing this little walk. It was absolutely hilarious. I think every time I think about it, I start laughing again. It was truly, truly, truly that funny, right? I mean, it was hilarious, right? But the reason I'm saying that is because I went through some physical challenges as I went through everything that I had to do with the prostate surgery, right? So after the surgery went through, we had to go through physical therapy. We had to go through, and in my case, I had even went through radiation, and there's some other things that we had to do. Now, here is where I want to make sure while I'm saying this, not just to men, but also to the ladies that are out there. If for whatever reason, specifically to prostate, I'm referring to, right? I'm only specifically talking about prostate. A gentleman, a male, your brother, your uncle, your husband, your grandfather, or whatever, your side boo, your side piece, and decide to go through excuse me, not the cancer, but go through the surgery and have their prostate removed. There are some things that they're going to mentally have to deal with. But before I get to the mental side, remember the recovery. It always, they always come up with that 6 weeks to recover, and you're gonna be good, and all that sounds cute. I've known people that have recovered in less, and I've known people that have recovered in more lengthier time, right? That's just one phase of it. You go through when you coming out of surgery, you went in surgery once. When you come out, unfortunately, you have lost a piece of you. That's just what it is. Now, in that recovery, there are some things that's literally physically that you're going to have to deal with from the surgery because it's a physical surgery. Whether you do it robotically, and most people doing robotic now, but robotically, or if you're doing just a straight get the scalpel and go to work, regardless of what it is, you're still going to have some kind of recovery with your body. After you, excuse me, after your body begins to heal, right? Then you begin to go to that next phase of the mental. So the physical part, you're dealing with just your body. You got holes in you. And I remember when I first woke up after the surgery itself, I remember literally sitting there and I was like, oh boy, I had tubes coming everywhere. I had things that was hooked up to me. It feels like I was touched from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. I mean, everything going on, right? And I was even afraid to move. I was like, oh my God. And that's when I realized that, I'm coming out of surgery, that I'm okay. First, I'm alive. I'm in my right mind. But now you seeing the results of the actual physical surgery. So that was a whole part that you have to deal with. Now going into the mental side, let's get into it, because a lot of times people don't understand certain sides of the actual mental side, which can create stress. And we don't want to go into that version, right? So the mental side, after somebody mentally tells you that you have a disease that can actually, quite frankly, grow if you don't treat it and get and deal with it. It can actually grow to a certain point where perhaps it can actually harm you in a big way, or actually, let's just say, remove you from society permanently, right? So once that part is that in and of itself is emotional. That in and of itself is powerful from a mental standpoint. Once you deal with that, then you have a battery of tests that you have to go through, a battery of tests from MRIs, the CAT scans, and so on. They're going to do PET scans and so on to make sure that there's nothing else wrong with you in your body outside of just that piece. Once that is clear, because obviously you're going to have give a whole bunch of blood, you're going to be testing this, testing that. They're going to test your body, they're going to test everything. Once that is done, and now they say, okay, we got the results. Here are the results, Stanley. And my doctor, great doctor, incredible doctor, right? And in my opinion, the best on the planet. He literally, he said, okay, I got the results. And I remember him saying, he said, Stanley, if you did not have this, you would actually be a perfectly healthy human being. Thanks, doc, but I got this, all right? What are my options? So my options were, I can kind of try to treat it, and he had some medicine or something. He kind of treat it this way. Um, I can just ignore it. I can kind of treat it, or I can have the robotic surgery. So he broke everything down for me to share. Now, this is other people have went through the same exact scenario, right? And at the end of the day, for me, for Stanley, the best option was for me to have the surgery, right? Now, once I decided to have that surgery, I remember him saying, I want you to think about this. Here's another part of the mental that was a blow, not just to me, but there's a whole bunch of other people I've spoken to that have had the surgery either prior or post. And it has literally been a just a juggernaut. Now, I hadn't planned on having any other kids anymore, but when the doctor literally tells you, once this happened, you cannot have any kids, I don't care if you didn't plan on having kids. For somebody to tell you that you won't, your choice is no longer yours. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Now, it's not just me, because other gentlemen that I've been fortunate enough to mentor through this process, it hit them the same way, the exact same way. And a lot of them, they were like, Stanley, I'm not planning on having any other kids. I never planned on it. However, to have the doctor to tell you you can't have that, that is a pain of something that only individuals that have went through this can understand from that side. You can try to articulate it to your wife or your spouse or your significant other or your boo or whoever on the side, right? You can try all of that. That's cool. But that's something you just got to support them doing that. And ladies, if somebody gonna do that, please support them. Now, the other side is, now that's that one thing. Then they will tell you, and a lot of people will laugh when I say this. In one way, when I say laugh, not literally laugh, but like, oh, don't worry about that, at least you're alive. And they'll say, well, you may never have sex again, or you may never have an erection again, right? Now, that sounds cool because you're alive. But then Men are like, wait, I may never have sex. And all that's another mental blow. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, that's not my point. I'm talking about the mental standpoint of it. So you got the blow, you can't have another kids. Now they're telling you may not even be able to have an erection again. That's a whole nother thought process. That's a whole nother thing, right? Now you have to deal with those two things, right? And then after, now you're going to have the surgery. So you're mentally preparing yourself for all of this, then to go through surgery. Remember, we only talking about prostate cancer. I can't say anything else. I only have the experience on what, unfortunately, in this that I survived through that, right? So now, as you go through that, now your date is coming up. So now you have all of these things and thoughts going through your mind about what should I do in terms of the prostate cancer and how I'm going to respond and result. So I was angry on one side, and the other sides I was sad, and then I was just like, thank God, and I had the whole motion of a whole range of emotions, right? One side you're angry, one side you're joyous, one side you're thanking God. You can go it all. That's great, and most men are there, but that now becomes mental. I'm sharing this to my brothers that are out there, and to share you're not alone. A lot of other individuals have went through that as well. You're not alone. If you need help, pick up the phone to call somebody to talk to. If you don't have anybody, call me. Send a message to the actual to the podcast, and we can talk directly, because this is important. I want you whole. I want you mentally whole, that this is not the end all, right? So then you, after you finish that, you go through that mental, you go through the surgery, then on the other side, the only thing you're trying to figure out is like, okay, first, I'm grateful that I'm alive. Now the mental side of, now mentally I have to heal my body, because on an outward appearance it may not seem a lot, but the inward appearance have went through an absolutely traumatic experience. So you have that. You're still trying to figure out, am I going to quote unquote be a total or full man now? Will I be able to react a certain way? All of those things run through that individual. So if you're there, brothers, please reach out, talk to somebody, converse with somebody. Don't hold that in. Please don't. Please don't. Send an email to the I'm going to say the station, to the podcast. Let's talk with Stanley D at gmail.com. Send me a message. Go to Let's talk with Stanley D. I'm sorry, let's talk with Stanley Doucette.com. Send a message that way. However you need to do it, send a message if you can't find anybody else, because it's that important. We need you to stand up. We don't need you to be angry. We don't need you to be furious. We don't need you to be frustrated. We don't need you to be sad. We don't need you to be sitting up there saying, why me? What about me? Listen, we survived that, and we're going to continue on, and now we're thriving, we're excited, we're full, we're the full man, we all of that, but now we need you to be that place, right? There are some other things that could happen in individual lives as well. I'm not going to go through all the gory details, but there are some other things, and sometimes things that happen because you had that surgery, and some days you just wake up and say, why? Like, why? I don't understand it. But those are the things I want to talk to the men. We have to now communicate those thoughts. If you're sad, hey, talk to one of your boys, or your wife or your mom or your dad or somebody, to say, this is how I'm feeling. Like right now, I'm feeling this way because of this. Let them walk you through those things so you can be whole, not just physically as a male, not just past the cancer stuff, not just through your vascular and cardiovascular stuff, but also through your mental, right? We want you to be here whole, safe, secure, not just physically, but also mentally. All right. And then the last thing is, what was the last one? Unintentional injuries. That's what it was. Unintentional injuries. Now, we went through the cardiovascular, we went through the cancer, and I specifically talked about prostate cancer. And then the last piece, let's talk about this: unintentional, not intentional, but unintentional injuries, whether it's a motor vehicle crash. Let me see what else I have written down. Whether it's some kind of poisoning by mistake, whether it's a fall. Because y'all know, Sometimes we start to get up in age. We start to get into our 50s or our 60s, and we still think we can do things like when we were in our 20s. So, like, I'm not gonna talk about a motor crash because we understand what that is. And I don't want to talk about poisons either because we understand what that is. But I want to talk about falls and just different things from a fall standpoint. We are no longer in our 20s. As great as we may think we are, we are no longer in our 20s. What My best friend would always say, somebody would always tell him, just keep living. You wake up all of a sudden, your back hurt. Well, the back hurt. You wake up, "Oh, my arm hurt. Oh, my leg, my ankle hurt. Like, I'm stiff." What? Listen, we're no longer 20, right? Falls. The reason why I want to talk about falls is sometimes, I remember when my dad was living, and we were just talking one day, and I was in the room, and I heard him, I was certain something on a roof. Like, what's like, and I thought it was like maybe a squirrel or something. I didn't know what it was. So I walk outside. Who I see on the roof? My dad in his 70s. Man, what are you doing? He was like, "Oh, I was just trying to straighten this up." On Man, if you don't get down from the roof, and believe it or not, thank God he got off the roof and he was climbing down the ladder, and he got to just about the last one, and then he missed a step and he fell. I was like, "Oh my God, thank you that it was not falling off the roof," right? So we have to be careful because we're not that athletic as we used to be. Our skills and our sharpness in that standpoint, it may not be as crisp as it once was. So we want to make sure, even in our falls, all those things. If you're playing sports, make sure you're out there stretching, warming your body up, stretching your legs, stretching your arms, not just going out there thinking like when we were in our 20s and teens, we could just get out there, get a ball, and we just start balling, right? Listen, can't do that anymore. Some of us who used to dunk, listen, don't try it. Don't get caught on that rim and fall on your back. Don't try it. So make sure we're stretching, we're warming our bodies up. We have a lot of water there to continue to replenish our what is going out, so we'll be able to replenish that, and so many other things. So I wanted to share these things today with you, family, because once I did that, I realized that there was so many things that was going on. But I realized if your boy was going through this, there's probably somebody else that was going through it. So I wanted to keep this podcast short. I didn't want this to be like oh my God, I feel so bad. No, and by the way, for all of those that's thinking, wondering, I am absolutely perfect. I'm the full circle man, if y'all know what I mean. But I want to make sure that everybody that is either male or associated with somebody that you love, that's a man, make sure that they're taking care of their cardiovascular, making sure if something happened and they got cancer, that they're being treated well and taken care of. And those unintentional injuries, whether it's motor vehicle, whether it's firearms or whatever it may be, right? Making sure those individuals are taken care of love. Because as we're going into Father's Day, this is gonna be my first Father's Day without my dad. Now, some of y'all that know me know that was my dude. That was my dog right there. And one of the things that he liked was horse racing, right? So when the Kentucky Derby and the what was it, Preakness, I think was next, and then the Belmont, I always get them mixed up in the Triple Crown. But whatever the last one was, it was a very, very close race, right? And I just not thinking, I just wanted to pick the phone up and call him and be like, "Man, did you see that race?" And then you had to realize that. So for those that have their fathers, their dads still around, give them a hug, show them love. And a lot of people get caught up in it. Well, my dad didn't do this, and he wasn't around, and he this and he that. We get all of that. I understand all of that. But show love. Show love. It doesn't cost you nothing to show love. If you're not that close with your dad, and you just like puke, whatever. That's whatever. Don't get caught up into grown folk business. Just love on your dad. That's your dad. He's part of the reason that you're here. So let's just make sure we love on them. For those that have their dad still in their life, make sure you love on them. Make sure you love on them. There's only one dad. There's only one father. Make sure you love on that person. All right. So listen, we're gonna ride on out of here today. Don't worry, we back now. Oh, we back. We back. We back. I don't listen. I don't know what's gonna come out these next podcasts because I feel good. I want to do good. I think one thing I'm gonna do a podcast on our for our company with our convention coming up. We about to change the entire game. It's gonna be different. So we're doing all of those things. I'm excited. So shout out to everybody that's listening to every part of the country, all 70 plus, all 170 plus countries. Shout everybody out. Let's go back. Let's get back into it. We're back. We ride now. We're going to do it hard. We're going to do it strong. And we're going to make it even better and, as I say, more better. All right. So, why to everybody? Shout out to my family everywhere around the world. I love y'all. And guess what? We'll see y'all on the beaches of the world soon. This is going to finish up this podcast. And I'll see y'all next Monday for the next episode of Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. We out. Peace.